The faucet in our Austin kitchen had that lazy drip I kept meaning to fix. Sun on the quartz, garlic from last night still faint in the air. Madison nudged her tea aside like it had annoyed her. "I want to stay married," she said, steady, bored even. "But explore some options. A little freedom. New experiences." I set my fork down. "You want to go on dates while you're my wife?" She gave a small smile, like we were talking about paint samples. "Temporarily. It's growth. Don't take it personally." The words weren't sharp. The structure was. Decision announced, not discussed. Keep the home base intact. Let the field trips begin, and I'd clap from the bleachers. I got up, rinsed my plate. The faucet finally stopped on its own. "You're asking me to bless your crisis," I told her. Turn myself into a safety net. "No, I'm not a man on hold." She blinked, annoyed that I'd stepped out of the script. "You're being dramatic. It's not about you." "That's convenient." I dried my hands on the dish towel, hung it straight. "You opened a door. It swings both ways. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have called a locksmith before lunch." She kept her tone even. "Let's be adults. I want a little space. You'll still be here. We're fine." "Noted." I slid my chair under the table. "I'll make adjustments." "What kind of adjustments?" "You'll see." She rolled her eyes and reached for her phone. "Don't turn this into a thing. It already is a thing." I grabbed my keys. "I'll be back later." On the drive to my office, I hit the bank. The teller knew me by name. I signed the transfer papers without small talk. My business accounts were mine. Our joint account stayed funded for the essentials we'd agreed on when we were us. Groceries, utilities, the dog walker. Everything else moved to new, clean lines. I changed passwords on the business tools. Set new two-factor. Canceled the auto-ship wine subscription she liked that I paid for out of habit. Not a punishment. Accounting. By noon, the messages started. Her. "Why can't I log into the joint?" Me. "Essentials are covered. Personal discretionary is separate now." Her. "That's controlling." Me. "That's boundaries." "You opened a door. I opened a ledger." At 2. Another. "We're still married. Why would you isolate funds?" I called her. "Because you asked for freedom. Freedom has overhead. You handle yours. I'll handle mine." "So you punish me?" "Madison, if I wanted to punish, you'd know. This is me staying sane." She went quiet, hunting for a better frame. I said temporarily. "I heard you. I'm not a child. I'm not asking permission. That's clear." I ended the call first. I like clarity in business. Turns out I like it at home too. By evening, she stood in the doorway of my office, leaning on the frame like a playful detective. "You're serious about this separate money thing?" "I am." "You're still eating what I cook?" "If you're cooking because you want to eat, sure." I looked away from the screen. "If you're cooking to stay in control, order takeout. I'll pay my share." She moved a picture frame, then moved it back. "You're overreacting." "To your freedom?" "To the logistics." "Logistics keep people honest," I said. "They make choices visible." Her lips thinned. "You don't get to punish me for wanting more. Stop trying to sell more as a virtue while it costs me respect." She crossed her arms. "We'll talk later." We just did. The next morning I posted, "Single again. Not broken, just adjusting." I didn't tag her. I didn't write a manifesto. The thing was barely a sentence. Within an hour, my phone was vibrating off the desk. Texts from friends I'd known since high school, from guys I'd coached their kids with, from a vendor in San Antonio who'd once watched me talk down a contractor and had apparently been waiting for me to remember who I was. "You good? Proud of you for drawing a line. Come by the shop if you need to get out of the house. About time you stopped apologizing for breathing." The support didn't fix anything, but it exposed my blind spot. I wasn't crazy. "Madison, on cue. Take that down. That's humiliating." I replied, "It's neutral. It's not about you. You're blowing up our privacy. It's my status, not your PR." She called twice. I let it go to voicemail. When I finally picked up, she didn't say hello. "Do you have any idea how that looks?" She was clipped, voice pitched for control. "Like I'm adjusting," I said. "Which I am. You're trying to turn people against me." "I don't need to turn anyone. They know me." She exhaled, a sharp hiss. "You want a list of who texted me? You want me to read it? I want you to stop pretending I'm your communications director." "What does that even mean?" "It means you don't get the image without the work. I'm still your wife. You opened the door." "You're cruel." "I'm awake." She hung up. I fixed the faucet that afternoon just to hear something stop. 2 days later, I changed the locks in the garage code. Not because she was dangerous, because I was done with open loops. I texted her new house rules. Me, new locks, new code. Ping me before you come by. Her, you don't have the right. Me, I have the key. Her, I'm your wife. Me, you were. You're choosing something else. She showed up that evening with the old key anyway. Rattled it against the deadbolt like it owed her money. The porch light hit her face. She dressed casual but curated. She wanted to own the tone. Open the door, she said. This is pathetic. I held it half open on the chain. No surprise entries. Text first. You're policing me. I'm protecting my time. This is my house. It's the house we paid for. I'm the one living in it now. Step 1 of your plan was space. This is space. She tried to wedge a foot against the door. I didn't push back. I just let the chain do its job. You're going to regret this, she told me. You're going to chase me once you calm down. Doubt it, I said. I'm finally rested. She stood there long enough to make her point, then left. The porch light clicked itself off a minute after she was gone. Brooke, my younger sister, called that night. She'd always had a way of getting straight to it. You okay? She asked. I'm fine. You sound like a voicemail. I'm doing what I should have done a year ago. Good. Also, listen, my friend Jenna needs a place for a month. She's getting out of a bad setup. She's quiet and clean. You've got the guest suite. I'm not a rehab facility. She isn't asking for counseling. She needs a door that locks and a place to make tea. She's starting at a small press next week. I'm changing the house code every few days. Then give her the new one when you change it. She can deal. I paused. She doesn't need drama. She won't bring it, Brooks said. Say yes, or I'll put her in my living room, and you'll owe me forever. Fine. A month. Don't be a saint about it, she said. Just don't be an idiot. Jenna arrived with 2 suitcases and a tote of cookbooks. No speeches. No advice. She looked around the guest room and smiled like clean sheets were a miracle. Rent? She asked. Call it even if you keep the dishwasher loaded. That I can do. The first night, she made salmon and a salad without asking what I liked. The music was low and old. She poured me water, sat across, and didn't ask for my story. The silence wasn't punishment anymore. It was just quiet. Madison found out about Jenna in the worst possible way, by showing up with the old key and a mindset, and the chain catching again. She peered past my shoulder. Who's that? She asked. Friend of Brooks. Living here. Temporarily. Madison's eyes sharpened. You think you're funny. I think I'm done living by your script. Don't play games with me, Eric. I don't play. She sent me a long text that night about respect. About the image of our marriage. About bringing a stranger in as a stunt. I didn't answer. I changed the code, told Jenna the new numbers, and went to bed. Jenna's presence didn't fill the house. It calmed it. She labeled leftovers with dates. She folded dish towels in thirds. I started sleeping full nights. When she got the job offer officially, we booked a table at a modest place off South Lamar. She put her hair up, laughed when I told the host we were celebrating a first day that hadn't happened yet, and ordered the chicken like she meant it. We were 2 bites in when I saw the black apron and knew. Madison stepped out from behind the counter with a notepad and a look that said she'd controlled the setting. I'd known she picked up shifts when she wanted quick cash and FaceTime. I hadn't checked the schedule. Well, look at this, she said too brightly. Eric's victory lap. I met her eyes. Evening. She looked at Jenna. You must be the trophy rebound. Jenna didn't flinch. No trophy, she said. And not a rebound. Madison pitched her voice louder, catching 2 nearby tables. He changed the locks, you know? Posted about being single like a teenager. Who does that? The manager, a compact woman with 0 patience for drama, came over fast. Madison, we don't do this at tables. We're all adults, Madison said, not moving. They're celebrating her new life in his house. Back to the kitchen, the manager said. Now. Jenna set down her fork carefully. These games don't work on me, she told Madison. Enjoy your shift. I pulled my card from my wallet, handed it to the manager. We'll take the check. Appreciate you. Madison tried one more jab. You'll regret this later, Eric. I don't do later, I said. Not anymore. We left without looking back. Outside, Jenna linked her arm through mine for exactly 3 steps, then let go. She'll try public again, she said. I know. Then we keep dinners simple. Deal. At home, I sat on the patio with a seltzer while Jenna sent her onboarding paperwork. Messages pinged. A buddy from my gym. Heard about the scene. You handled it clean. Another from Brooke. Proud of you for not taking the bait. Madison texted at midnight. You embarrassed me at work. I typed. You embarrassed yourself. Her. You're cruel. Me. I'm consistent. Her. Give me the garage code. Me. Text before you come. The next day was my away day at the workshop where I prototyped fixtures for clients. A place with sawdust, straight edges, and men who think with their hands. Leo, who rents a bay across from me, wandered over, wiped glue on his apron, and nodded at my phone. You look like someone is trying to sell you a timeshare, he said. Close. A future I don't want. You finally cut that loose? I'm in the process. Good. Because the guys liked you better before you started writing essays for every decision. I don't need a fan club. You need your spine. He grinned. Also, I'm stealing your clamp. Put it back. He didn't, but he laughed. The world was still normal in places. By Friday, the illusion of softness arrived. Madison showed up at dusk with a bag of groceries like a peace envoy. She stood on the porch with rain on her jacket. I made you pasta, she said. Your favorite. I already ate, I said. You can have it tomorrow. I'm not storing gestures. She pushed the bag toward me. Can we just talk without you doing your calm robot act? You declared new rules, I said. I'm following them. She looked past me into the hallway like she expected Jenna to materialize and applaud. I miss you. Which version? The one who didn't weaponize money. I separated money. That's not a weapon. It's a line. She softened her face like a coach trying to get a kid back on the field. I'm saying I'm willing to reconsider the timing. There it is, I said. Timing. Fine. She snapped, the softness cracking. I'm saying maybe I pushed too fast. We could go slower. You're not easy, Eric. I'm not soft. She held out the bag again. I took it to end the scene. She waited for an invitation in that hesitation after a handoff. I didn't give it. She walked away with a parting shot. Don't let her move in. She already has a job, I said. She doesn't need my house to breathe. Right? She said, with a small smile that wasn't friendly. We'll see. The pasta was bland, but I ate it for breakfast. It's a habit. Use what's in front of you. Jenna smirked when she noticed the empty container. Diplomatic meal? She asked. Something like that. The second softening came a week later after I canceled our standing Sunday brunch with her friends. I sent a neat text to the group. I'm stepping back from couple events for the time being. Appreciate the invites. Madison called me, furious at the logistics, then pivoted mid-call. I was thinking, she said sweet. You should come to Kelly's birthday anyway. It would be good for us to show unity. People talk. You want a photo? I said. I want us to be civil. You want your old mask. I'm not wearing it. You're impossible. I'm consistent. I went to Kelly's party anyway, for Kelly. We'd been at each other's cookouts for years. I wore a nice shirt, brought flowers, and arrived with Jenna because public clarity beats private spin. Brooke and her husband were there, surprised but supportive. Kelly hugged me like family and hugged Jenna like a good sport trying to read a room fast. Madison had already taken center stage, standing near the island, refilling glasses like she owned the event. The house was full of her circle, bright, talkative, and trained to perform concern. I kept my answers short. Yes, works good. Yes, the project downtown. No, not traveling much this quarter. Halfway through the evening, Madison crossed the room and dropped into my lap like it was a sitcom. Conversation stalled. You could feel people pretending not to watch. Missed my seat, she said, fake casual. Get up, I told her low. She tilted her head, sweet to the crowd. Oh, come on. We're still us. Jenna stood next to me, placed a hand on the back of the chair, and looked Madison in the eye. He's not a prize, she said. Madison didn't move. You're very confident for a guest. Brooke cut in from the side, voice cool. Madison off. Madison slid off my lap, but she didn't stand up. She perched on the arm of the chair instead, daring me to shift her. I did one better. I stood, set my drink on the counter, and moved across the room to talk to Kelly's husband about his smoker. Jenna followed without fuss. The room rebalanced around us. 2 minutes later, Madison left with a slam of cabinet doors that didn't belong to her. People saw. People remember what they see. On the way home, Jenna didn't ask for a debrief. She turned the radio low and watched the city pass. At the house, she changed into sweats and folded laundry in front of a documentary about parks. I updated the garage code. When I finished, she looked up. "She won't stop," she said. "She needs you responding." Then I stop responding and start deciding. Already started. The next morning, I went to my office early, printed what needed printing, and drove home with a manila envelope on the passenger seat. The house was quiet. Jenna had left for her first day. Sun on quartz. Faucet behaving. I made coffee and sat at the table. At 9 on the dot, Madison knocked like a sales rep. I opened, stepped aside, and let her into the entry, not the living room. She dressed in neutral tones that read like a statement. "I'm reasonable." She held her phone like a mic. "I miss you," she said. "I messed up. You're lost right now." "I'm not lost," I said. "I'm done." "You can't be done. We're temporary." "Your plan was temporary," I said. "My respect isn't." "You're throwing everything away for her." "This isn't about Jenna," I said. I lifted the envelope from the console table and handed it to her. "These are filed. You'll get the official notice through proper channels, but I wanted you to hear it from me, in my house, while I'm calm." She didn't take it at first. Then she did, like it was hot. "You filed?" "I did." "You're insane." "I'm finished." "You think this is power." "I think this is the first honest thing we've done in months." "You're going to ruin your life." I already found it under the noise. She opened the envelope, saw the signatures, and froze. No shouting. No crying. Just the realization that the game board had been lifted. She tried one more angle. "You're throwing it all away because I wanted space?" "You wanted options and a soft landing," I said. "You can have one." She stared past me into the hallway, hunting for Jenna again. "You're doing this for her." "I'm doing this for me. You'll regret it." "I don't carry regrets," I said. "I carry keys." She put the envelope back on the table like it might stain her, lifted her chin, and left without slamming anything. When the door clicked, I let myself breathe like a man who'd finished a job, not like a soldier after a battle. Brooke came by that afternoon with coffee and a look. "You filed," she said. "I did." "She'll try to make it about optics." "She already did." "Good. Keep it boring." "Boring is safe." "I can do boring." 2 evenings later, my truck's gas cap hung at an odd angle. A neighbor, Mr. Alvarez, waved me over from his driveway, his face tight. "Hey man," he said. "Not my business, but I saw someone near your truck late." "Woman. Hoodie." I told my wife to call it in if anything looked off. "Appreciate it," I said. I crouched, sniffed, and didn't smell anything sweet or sharp. "You catch a plate?" He shook his head. "Just be careful." I checked the security camera feed. A figure in a hoodie had hovered by the truck for a beat, then hustled away when a patrol car cruised past, looking for speeders. I sent the clip to my phone, logged it with the non-emergency line, and texted Madison something short. "Me. If you're trying to rattle me, pick a safer hobby." "Her. What are you talking about?" "Me. The house is covered. Stay away from my property." "Her. You're paranoid." "Me. I'm rested." Jenna watched me from the dining table. "You going to send that video to anyone?" "It's already noted." "You need me to move my car?" "No. You need to make your lunch for tomorrow. We're not changing for chaos." She smiled and pulled the hummus from the fridge. I didn't sleep badly that night. I slept like someone who trusts his locks. The next week, we ran into Madison again, not by accident this time. Kelly's husband invited a bunch of us to a backyard thing. Early fall, screens up for the game, kids in the grass. I went because life goes on. Jenna came because she'd learned my friends fast. She talked books with one of the moms and compared recipes with Kelly. I brought a simple salad that didn't compete with the smoked meat everyone pretended not to love too much. Madison arrived late, wearing the kind of smile that dares people to mention the weather. She worked the yard like a politician, light on her feet, offering apologies that weren't for anyone in particular. I stayed on the deck, poured myself a ginger ale, and took the last seat at the rail. She waited for the moment when Jenna was across the yard. Then she walked up, leaned close, and spoke under the music. "You're really going all the way with this." "All the way," I said. "You're going to be alone again," she said. "And you'll deserve it." "I like my own company." "You're cruel," she said softly, practicing for sympathy she'd collect later. "You made me into a story. I didn't write your lines." She straightened. You could stop this. Already stopped it. She left me with that and slid into a conversation near the grill. 10 minutes later, Jenna reappeared, pressed a hand between my shoulders, a brief, grounding touch, and then took it away. You ready to go? She asked. Yeah, I said. Let's keep the exits clean. On the way out, Madison tried one more theater piece. She stepped into our path like a crossing guard, raised her voice just enough for a semicircle to hear. You owe me an apology, Eric. For what? For making me look like the bad guy. I didn't make you look like anything. You replaced me before I was gone. I scanned the faces. Our world had eyes. You left before you walked out, I said. So I locked the door after you. Kelly's husband shifted, uncomfortable with the volume on his grass. Jenna looked at Madison without drama and said, I'm not your competition. Madison flinched at that more than anything I'd said. She wanted a triangle. She got a line. We left. By then I'd stopped warning. I started finishing. I met with a realtor to list the house for sale later, clean split, no theater. I booked movers for the guest room first, then the storage unit. I scheduled utilities to my name alone until the sale cleared. I called a mutual friend who sometimes played mediator and told him, calm and kind, to sit this one out. What happened to working it through, he asked. I did, I said. Working it through means finding the edge of it. I found it. Madison tried the third softening a week later. She stood on the porch in a drizzle, hair damp, voice low. I miss us, she said. I'm sorry. For what exactly? I asked. For pushing. That's not a behavior, I said. That's a label. For wanting what I wanted. There it is. She glanced past me again. Is she here? Not your business. Do you still love me? Love is not a hall pass. She put her hand on the door frame like memory would unlock it. Just let me in so we can talk where it's warm. This is warm enough. You won't even try. I tried, I said. You called it weakness. I call this recovery. She swallowed whatever line she had next, wrapped her arms tight like she finally felt the weather, and turned away. The day the official envelope arrived at her place, she sent a series of messages that read like storm bands. Anger, bargaining, the performance of sadness. I replied to exactly one. Her, you made me into a villain. Me, actions write roles. Her, you're not generous. Me, I'm not blind. The last push came at a happy hour for one of my clients. Neutral ground, public, work adjacent. I went because business isn't therapy and because I refused to hide. The bar was loud enough for cover, gentle enough for conversation. Leo showed up and clapped me on the shoulder. Look at you, vertical and hydrated. Set the bar low, I said. Set the bar firm, he corrected. Half an hour in, Madison appeared at the edge of the crowd. She scanned, found me, and beelined. She didn't ask if she could join. She slid into the circle and smiled like a guest host. Congratulations on your contract, she said, loud enough. I'm so proud of him. Leo raised an eyebrow. This for work or for show? Both, Madison said. She turned to me. We should get a photo. No. She tried a different tack, voice low. Just tell me what you need to stop this. I don't need anything. Everyone will forget this if you just slow down. People don't forget public behavior, I said. They just stop having to watch it. She stepped closer. Be decent. I am, I said, and let a bead hang. I'm giving you what you said you wanted, freedom. It just doesn't come with my wallet or my silence. She stared like I'd spoken a language she hated being forced to learn. Then she laughed, a short sound with no humor in it, and walked away. 10 minutes later, Leo bumped me with his elbow. You did good, he said. You kept your voice. That's the whole job. Feels small. It's big. Small as yelling. I walked home past the long blocks where people watered lawns and checked mailboxes like everything was always fine. At the house, the porch light came on clean. Jenna was reading on the couch with the window cracked. The air smelled like rosemary. You want dinner? She asked. I could eat. She didn't get up right away. She finished the page, marked it, and then stood. We made taco bowls with whatever was left in the fridge and ate without solving a single problem, because the problems were already solved. I posted once more, just to close the loop, moving forward. Grateful for the real ones. The messages were fewer this time, but deeper. Not pity. Respect. Older men who'd done this a decade earlier. Young guys who'd seen it at home and sworn never to repeat it. A cousin who wrote, Proud of you for not breaking and not breaking anything. Final day in the house. I packed the last box from the guest room. Jenna came in, looked around at the blank walls, and smiled. You ready? She asked. More than ready. We loaded the car. I took one last walk through. Kitchen, hallway, the spot on the floor where the dog used to slide when he tried to take the corner too fast. I locked the door and didn't look back. I moved to a place on the east side with clean lines and a garage that didn't try to boss the car. It isn't fancy. It's mine. I bought a used truck that runs smoother than it looks. I kept my mornings for the workshop and stopped saying yes to projects I resented. My evenings are quiet. Sometimes Jenna is there, sometimes she isn't, because she has her own life, which turns out to be part of why I like her. We do dinners, we do silence, we don't do strategy sessions about how to manage each other's reputations. Brooke drops by and steals my chips. Leo returns stolen clamps and pretends he didn't. As for Madison, I hear things. Not from her. From the city, which talks. The job behind the counter didn't stick. The people who loved being confided in during the drama don't visit as often when the show moves on. The options look different when they come with real bills and no backstage pass. She'll land somewhere, because people do. It just won't be on my couch or with my code. I didn't leave angry. I left clear. When someone tells you they're shopping while asking you to keep the lights on, take them at their word and take your light with you. I didn't win anything. I just stopped volunteering to lose. When I think about that morning in the kitchen, the drip, the sun, her voice pretending to be gentle, I don't feel much. Not pride, not bitterness. Just the relief of having chosen a door and walked through it. She opened it. I made sure it shut. And when I said, I'm awake, I meant it. I sleep fine.